Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, this is going to be interesting. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a drawing lesson, but it's on Patreon. There's multiple ways that I provide what I would consider educational content. Some is inspirational, some is professional. I used to do it a lot on YouTube. I've talked about this before, but I had a series of probably 150 videos called Journey of 1,000 Miles. It was originally like a vlog thing that I would do, but a lot of it was very cutting edge advice I was giving you, especially in the light of everything that's been going on in comics. But I told people, I said, look, every single job that you have always ends. If you work in the entertainment and art business, at some point, everything you're hired to do is going to come to an end, and you better be ready for that. And every time that you start a new job, you're basically starting over. Your legacy will continue for a little while, but even that, there's only so much gas that puts in the tank. The other thing was, is I always encouraged pencilers to what? Right. I said for years, the last 3 years, I've been on YouTube for 4 years. For 3 years, I was banging everyone's head about if you pencil, start writing stuff, start making up original characters. The other thing that I do is I have sometimes a very unique perspective on learning. And if I notice little things that I think can help people that are outside the box, I always recommend them. So this is a very interesting discovery that I had. It came to my mind a couple of days ago, and I noticed sometimes I'll say things in the videos, and I listen to them back generally at least once at some point, and I'll be working or walking, and I'll listen back to what I recorded. So what I found is like I'll listen back to like my art review videos. So like the Gustav Dorr video that I did yesterday, or the Michael Butkus video. And I'll listen to it on my walk. So I'm not looking at the video. I'm just listening to my narration. And the whole time that I'm listening to the video back, what am I doing? I'm visualizing everything that I looked at and explained in the video. And I started to realize that I'm moving these images around in my mind. I did a sidebar little story about that years ago. I had seen a Travis Charest piece at Scott Doombeer's house that was an unpublished panel from X-Men Wildcats Dark Ages. And so for years, the only time that I had ever seen the single panel, we could use this as an example right here, is looking at this Joe Madureira piece, this panel right here, with like the bottom left panel, in case you can't see my pointer. So that was all that was drawn on the piece. And so for about 10 or 15 years, I had this piece in my mind, and I had visualized what I remembered seeing. And then about 2 years ago, or a little like a few years ago, I asked Scott. I said, "Hey, could you make me a scan or like snap a photo of that page? I would love to see that panel again." And then a couple years later, he actually did it. So he shared it online, but it was very, very interesting to see my memory of what the actual panel was versus the reality of what it was. But what I want you to do today is we're going to look at 5 pieces. You're going to listen to me narrate it, and then tomorrow I want you to watch the video back. Listen to the video back. Don't watch it, and see how much you can picture of the pieces. I think that this is a really, really powerful tool that you could use and incorporate into your study techniques to get used to being able to visualize things, because a lot of what we do as artists is we do a lot of ground and pound practice. Most artists at some point have like sat and drawn arms for 4 or 5 hours, and a lot of times you do that and you walk away from it and you're not really 100% sure what you retained. Most people don't test themselves on it, so it's not like you don't like work on 25 different arm positions and then the next day go, okay, now let's see how many maybe some people do, but like they don't check it, and then they don't check it like 5 days later. 5 days later, how many of those 25 arm positions can you run through? So we're going to start right now. Enough of the intro on it, but I'm really excited for you guys to do this and try this and see what you can do. So one of the pages, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to describe it a little bit more, meaning that I'll actually talk about what we're looking at, to see, like, that'll be like sort of the training wheels. Then the next one, I'll talk about it a little bit more how I normally would, and on and on. And I've created, I picked 5 different levels of difficulty in terms of it. But look, you're not going to probably, unless you have some sort of photographic memory, you won't remember them perfectly. But you would be amazed at, like, okay, so we're going to look at this first panel. We've got Medusa coming in the panel. I don't know all the characters' names, so I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to guess. I know she's Medusa, but we've got this big head right here. And again, I'm going to over-describe this panel. So Medusa is on the left side of the panel. Her hair is flowing out of the top of the page. There's even hair kind of coming down into the panel. It's swirling around. It's actually wrapping around her leg a little bit. We've got the character next to her, and she's facing the other dude. We've got some guards in the background. We've got a person standing on a pile of junk who looks like they're almost maybe signaling for like a jet or something, or maybe a helicopter to land. And we've got this big sort of monolithic head. That's obviously a destroyed monster that they fought, and at the same time we've got some police barricades around the scene and characters going through the refuse. So that's the panel that I'm going to describe on this page, and then we'll look at this bottom left panel. So we've got Medusa facing off, walking up to the giant head of the whatever, I can't think of what they're called. But see if you, this one I won't describe who's on the left or who's on the right, but see when you watch the video back tomorrow, wait 24 hours and do it. See if you can remember what side of the panel she's on and what side of the panel the head is on. So okay, so that's what we're going to do on this first page. It's a little more described than normal. This was just a page I saved online, so we're not going to do this page. This is a bonus image. You can just look at this. I saw this on Facebook and saved it. Okay, so this is a Michael Hampton anatomy study, and you know, look, if you're going to be any kind of artist, at some point you've done either studies out of drawing books like this, or you've done your own creative drawings like this. I've pounded through thousands and thousands and thousands of drawings like this. I can make them up. I can do them from the reference. I actually don't have a lot of patience to copy stuff like this, so generally speaking, I can do it, but I actually prefer to kind of learn the information and then just run and gun and sort of make up my own. It seems to work better for me. It takes a lot of like, you have to be very calm to sit and actually copy things, like, you know, look and go, oh, okay, he's got a little line here. But anyway, so I mean, one of the main focuses obviously is the shoulder blades. So let's look at this picture of the guy. He's got his head sort of turning to the side. He's looking down a little bit. The shoulder blades are lifted. The arms are at kind of, I don't know if I wouldn't call that a T pose, but his arms are up, kind of going up over his head. He actually rotates the figure in this other one, and we get a little bit more of the back muscles, and how when the arms start to lift anymore, you see he hides the shoulder blades, but he's engaging the other muscles. You're starting to see how the muscles bulge. In this drawing, they're more relaxed. And if you like this kind of stuff, you need to go to my Patreon. This is the last month that I'm doing the $1 tier. All the tier amounts are going up because I work really hard on Patreon, and I give tons and tons of drawing advice, but it's so time consuming that I have to charge more for that time. But yeah, as he's lifting his arms, these muscles start to bulge, and if he contracted his arms even more, I'm on my Cintiq, I can actually sketch this, but if he were to bring his arms even more this way, these muscles are gonna bulge even more, and this will stretch, this will bulge, this is gonna bulge. And that's how you ever see a back, when like all the muscles are like, every muscle is like showing, and you're like, wow, like what is going on? It's because everything is being constricted. The arms, when the muscles are doing this, the arm is probably coming back into space, and everything is getting pushed, you know. And then down here it's going to start to relax because it's not affected by the arm coming back out towards you, you know. So anyway, and then we've got a pose with his arms up in the air. It looks like he's maybe holding a hoop of some sort to balance himself. His arms are on the hoop. He's got one leg in the air, one leg planted on the ground, and a really nice juxtaposition of his upper torso and his hips. You see the hips? Could you see the hips? Do you see this nice torque? It's really, really excellent stuff. I'm actually doing 2 videos today for Patreon. We're going to do a storytelling video, and we're going to get into the next phase of constructing heads. But it's a beginner series. I've got 3 levels of difficulty now for the videos that I do, which is beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I need to do one thing really fast. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn off the AC. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, our air conditioner came on. I don't want to waste energy all day. All right, so this is Stephen Platt piece. Beautiful, beautiful piece from Prophet with his inks on it, which is my personal favorite way to see his work. He's had some fantastic inkers along the way, but this is one of my favorite iterations of his style. So we've got Prophet. I don't know if he's blowing a hole through a wall or what's going on, but he's got his legs. Yeah, I don't know. Is he jumping? Maybe he's jumping. I think he's I think he's leaping this way. Can I create a red pen? I think he's leaping this way, and he's sort of shooting and flying, but his one leg is going like this, his other leg is like this. But we've got hand grenades in the air. He's holding the axe, and it's behind his head. And again, I'm describing this a little more than I normally would. We've got a bunch of long, kind of narrow panels, but if you look at the size relationship, see if you can remember tomorrow. Did it go small to big, or big to small, or small to big to small, or big, thinner, thicker? You're looking at it right now, so put that in your memory banks. And then he's almost got like, this almost feels like it's a different time, like he's possibly thinking back to another battle that he had. We've got it looks like it's him with his back. Yeah, he's got, I guess he's getting nailed by bows. Oh yeah, he is. Okay, so he's got tons of arrows in his back. He sort of summons the strength to like get up, and then he's just ready to fight. Or is this Crypt? Oh, okay, maybe this is the Crypt character. So this isn't Prophet, this is Crypt. My apologies. But yeah, anyway. And so he's got one gun arm and one axe. It almost looks like a shield. Is this a shield right here? I'm not sure what that is. I mean, it's part of the gun. Yeah, it is. This is bolts to the gun. Really, really nice perspective here. Check this out. You'll see a beautiful ellipse. You see, it sits right in this shape. Romp, romp. I can show you how to be able to. Oops, I don't hands off. How to be able to draw stuff like this pretty easily. I've got it down. I've done so many lessons and reviews now that I've learned a lot about it. I mean, this is mine was the tiniest bit off, but I mean, obviously you can kind of dial it in. But yeah, it's good stuff. That's a 3-point perspective he's got on that shield. People don't realize, they see this as a front view, or the piece as a front view, and don't realize that there's a lot of perspective involved. All right, so we've got Mike Mignola Batman cover. This is a pretty simple one. I thought this would be easier, but it's Batman basically jumping off of a very sort of stoic and heroic looking statue. We've got a president in the bottom. When you see the president, I'm not going to say who it is. Oh, I guess I will. I'm pretty sure it's George Washington. But I was hoping that you would be able to see it and then memorize it. But anyway, try to remember the position. There's George Washington and then another figure. Who's facing you? Is it George or is it the other statue? And then we've got Batman and Scarecrow fighting. Now, when you're listening to this back, can you remember who's on top? Is it Batman or Scarecrow? The bat symbol is behind one of the characters. Who's it behind? Is it behind the Scarecrow or is it behind Batman? I'm testing you guys. You like this? This is good stuff, I think. In terms of education, I've never really seen anyone do this on YouTube as a learning technique, especially for drawing comic books. Beautiful Michael Turner page. It's not the highest res scan, but we've got Wonder Woman running into a scene. Not new Wonder Woman, but the classic Wonder Woman. And looks like she's fighting some Doomsday type characters. So she's running into the panel. Do you remember which direction she's running? Is she running right to left or left to right? She's got her magic lasso around the neck of one of the monsters, and it looks like she threw her shield. I don't know what she did. Maybe she just punched him. She punched the other monster, and he's like falling back. Then in the next panel, we have Batman taking an axe to one of the Doomsday-looking monsters. See if you can remember what side of the panel. This will be interesting for me too. It's actually, I'm gonna have to watch it back once. When I'm narrating the videos, I don't sometimes retain the visuals as much. It's a little bit of a different experience. But anyway, but Batman's putting an axe into this monster's head. You can see the monster's head right here. So this is eye. And malware bites likes to always give me my updates. What's going on? But anyway, you got the dragon head here, the teeth and stuff going around. Beautiful shot. Mike is great, man. He is a great not only comic book artist but cartoonist. I consider at times his work to be almost illustrative. Fantastic artist. So rest in peace, Mike. But yeah, we've got Batman putting an axe in his head. See if you can remember what side of the panel Batman's on. And then, I don't remember what this character's name is. But anyway, we've got more of the Amazon women fighting a Doomsday character. And she's holding a weapon. See if you can remember what the weapon is. Is she got a bow? Does she have a spear or a sword? Maybe you're going to remember it by the order that I did it. Okay, so that's it. That's it. See what you can remember tomorrow when you watch this back and you don't look at the video. Oh, and Batman's cape is flying up in the air. What direction is his cape flying up in the air? Is it going like up to the left top of the page or the right top? Good luck with this. I hope this is fun and stimulates your memory, because this is a very important part of drawing. It's of course we can always reference something, you know. I tell people all the time, if you learn the fundamentals of drawing, it's not a big deal to draw things that you don't know how to draw, because you already know how to construct it. You know, if you know the fundamentals of drawing, you can construct a gun, you can construct a tank, you can draw a tank tread, you can do all that stuff. You don't need to know how to draw a certain type of tank. You can go online and find reference for the exact tread and stuff, but you'll be able to solve the drawing challenges of actually drawing it. And I'm talking about creating a drawing, not lightboxing a 3D model. So, you know, I understand that that's an option for people like Google SketchUp buildings and stuff like that. But I'm talking about if you really want to actually be a badass artist. So, all right, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Please smash the like. And, oh, this is another thing. We're almost at 15,000 subs and 1 million views. And honestly, I think that we're going to hit it both at the same time. The numbers are syncing up where we might do it. So that'll be actually very cool. 1 million views, 15,000 subs, which was a huge goal for me. 15,000 and 30,000 have been the numbers that I've always been striving for. So it's exciting. So, all right, I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.